Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to listen. Welcome to 2016's Listen Conference. Please help me welcome to the stage CallMiner's Vice President of Marketing, Scott Kendrick.
I tried to go live, but I couldn't stream live. I didn't have the connection I needed. But thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming. This is unbelievable. 300 customer engagement analytics professionals. I mean, we've been reminiscing all week what it was like 8 years ago in our first event. We had 9 people sitting around a table. The year after that, I think we had 6 people sitting around a table. Just kidding. We've had consistent growth the entire time. It's been awesome. It's because of you guys, you make this event what it is. So yeah, I was going to stream live, but I didn't get the connection I wanted to. But it's amazing that we have the ability now to broadcast with these little devices that we carry around in our pockets. That's how connected this world is today. It's just incredible. So before I continue, I want to talk about this photo, because this is also another proud sort of growth moment for the company. For myself, who I'm responsible for the brand, and seeing a customer wear our logo on his jersey as he cycles to the base of the Eiffel Tower. And I'm sure Jeff Galino, who founded the company 14 years ago, is pretty impressed when he sees stuff like this. This gentleman works for the largest direct insurance company in the UK. And he wore our jersey and represented the brand. And we really appreciate when you guys do that. We do have T-shirts at our booth if you haven't got one yet, kind of as supplies last. But wear our swag, send us your pictures. We love that stuff. It's great. All right, so this is the Earth. This is where we live. I'm a thought leader. On top of that, I'm going to drop some stats on you. Okay, so a recent Forrester study said that 32% of us are contacting customer care via the mobile web. 95% of us are using multiple channels when we're contacting our vendors and through customer care, and 65% of us are frustrated by the inconsistent experience across those channels. It makes total sense. I mean, I experience that all the time. I live all those stats. I think I fit the bill quite nicely. That same study also identified that 62% of us are already using social media to contact organizations about issues or concerns that we have. And Facebook Messenger is one of the fastest growing channels for customer support. I think that's pretty amazing, that social application that we take pictures of our lunch and share it with people, and pictures of what our kids are wearing to school that day has now become a legitimate business tool. But this new connected world is creating challenges. Our customers have greater expectations of us than they ever did before, but it also creates opportunities. And I'm going to talk about a couple of interesting opportunities outside of our industry about the benefits we get from a connected world. And the first is Amber Alert. I'm sure most of you know what Amber Alert is. I know we have some folks from other countries. I don't know if they have the same type of program. But this is broadcast emergency messages across SMS to all of us that are tethered to our mobile devices. Anytime there's a potential missing child or possible child abduction within that vicinity or region, so that we can all have an eye out for something that might be suspicious or helpful in this particular situation. And this has been a very successful program. So 800 successful recoveries. This data is actually from 2014, so it's been more since then. And 90% of those recoveries have occurred since there was a leader appointed to the National Amber Alert program. We have a similar program here in Florida. I think it's in other states as well. It's actually called Silver Alert. No kidding. But it's when elderly potentially lose their way or also become missing. And very similar stats. In 5 years, they had recovered about 750 individuals. So that's the power of us all being connected. The other example I like to talk about all the time is Waze. How many people have used Waze or use Waze? Okay, it's probably about half or maybe a little bit more. If you're not familiar with Waze, it is a GPS navigation system. And when I first heard about it, it was a couple years ago. I was kind of a late Wazer. They call them Wazers. And I overheard Jeff and Eric having some geeky conversation about Waze. And I was thinking to myself, what is the big deal? I've got a navigation system in my truck. I've got 2 on my phone. Why do I need another navigation system? I mean, it seems like a commodity, and that that fact alone is kind of crazy. The fact that this calculator-sized device in our pockets can talk to spaceships in outer space. It's amazing. But it's a commodity. But Waze did something different. They took all the data from their 50 million users worldwide, and that data point is also a couple years old now. And they pull all that information up to the system in real time, munge the data, and feed it back down so that the users of Waze can get to their destination on the fastest route possible, avoiding all the traffic that they can. But it's not just the automatic feed of data that's happening with Waze. There are users also inputting information into the system. So whether there's an abandoned vehicle on the side of the road or some debris in the road, or even a police that could be setting up a potential speed trap, all that information is input, and it's surprisingly accurate. Like the first time I ever used it, my family was driving up to Disney, and probably 90–95% accurate identification of all these road hazards, and within feet. So it was a really cool experience. It absolutely was a different experience than any navigation system I had used, and it's all because of the power of the connected people. There are also 100,000 map editors in the US alone contributing map changes to Waze. And for the most part, that's just through volunteer. It's because they're gamified and they want to earn points and raise their Wazer levels. In California, it's actually created some challenges, but there are a ton of people that use Waze in California because the traffic is a much bigger problem there, right? And so what's happened is some what were quiet residential streets have actually become popular through Waze now, because Waze is show no mercy, whatever the best path is to get my driver to the quickest destination. But on the flip side of that, the positive is, and I don't think I mentioned this, but Waze was acquired by Google a couple years ago for $1.1 billion. But Waze has started a program that they call Connected Citizens, and they are working with cities to do infrastructure planning, long-term planning. And I think that's pretty awesome. Again, this little kind of application that started out is now changing the way that we're going to be building our roads and our highways in the future. And that's the power of that connection and that network. So when we talk about us in this room, this is why we created engagementoptimization.com, because all of us represent a collective knowledge that we can share, and we can improve our ability to tackle the challenges that we face in dealing with our customers, in analyzing our customer conversations. That's why we're here at Listen. There are 160 first-timers in this room, which is also a crazy stat. But for those that haven't been here, what we hear consistently from the repeat attendees is that the information that the attendees are willing to share with one another and work together is something that doesn't happen at any other conference, right? And so, that's why we do these things. We think there's great opportunity, and we're going to be enabling you guys with even greater opportunity to share information, to connect, help solve these challenges. So we asked a few of you, some familiar faces in the audience, what you thought of this concept of boundless connections, this connected world, and we got some help creating a little short video, so I'm just going to roll that now.